you feel like most of the things you in your life right now that you've manifested them?
Oh, absolutely. And now I feel like because of where I currently am with things, I'm like, oh, I just gotta walk my toe over to my bed and just close my eyes and I can change my situation.
Aley, thank you so much for coming onto the Fostered. How are you doing today?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I'm really excited. I feel like Tatiana has just been introducing so many cool people to the podcast. Tatiana is our editor, in case you didn't know, because I feel like she's just so great at like finding cool people on the internet and like just branching them all together, which love about her. And I love your page. I saw like you said you're a creative, like you said creative wellness, and I've never heard that phrase before,
Yes.
but I identify with it so deeply. Did you come up with that yourself?
I did. Yeah, creative wellness kind of like came like during the pandemic because I was like, now I know everybody's like identifying as like creatives now, but like who's speaking to the mental wellness and just overall well-being of like creatives and like what we go through like comparison and burnout and disappointment, pivoting, finding your lane. And so I really want to like speak to creatives in like their overall wellness when it came to their journey. So yeah, that's how it came about.
I'm so obsessed with that. I love that phrase so much, and identify with it so deeply. So I like to start each podcast off just by asking, like, what is your story?
Yeah. Ooh, my story. Okay, girl. I mean, it's one of a lot of like ups, downs, dips, curves. I definitely do not have like a very linear path. But what I would say is that I did find my lane through storytelling.
Mm.
Um, when I was like younger, I would always keep a journal. I was like an investigative journalist for my life. And I was
Oh,
like
I
always
love that.
and I was just always like kind of documenting like, oh my gosh, like I couldn't find anybody to sit with at the lunch table or like can't believe my mom is doing this. Like it was definitely tea in the journals. And so then when I went to college, I was kind of like bored with my path and major. And so I was in biology originally, tragic. And then one of my dear professors was like, hey, you should look at something else. Like,
Did you hit like biochem? Was it around that point?
it was the fact that I was a bio major, chem minor. So
Mm,
I was doing a little too much on the brain that I
yeah.
wasn't wired for, you know? So he allowed me to kind of like see the world of marketing and jump into that, but it still wasn't hitting.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up starting a blog to kind of like chronicle my like graduation path because it was looking very bleak. Now an internships were coming in despite my efforts. And then I just kind of like formed the community off of that. The world of the internet just kind of has always come a little bit natural to me. I'm just like, you show up, you tell a story, people connect, you keep the conversation going. So like I think overall, like my story is just a girl who loves words and loves to connect with people off of relatable experiences. So yeah.
Oh, I love that so much. I can't get over you saying you're an investigative journalist for your own life. Like I just love that. Yeah, I can definitely tell your love of words just in like the way that you're speaking right now.
My therapist says that as well. So
What is your sign? Are you into astrology at all?
so like semi like I can't devote my life to it just because like my like beliefs and stuff, but I'm like, yeah, I kind of be onto something sometimes though.
I think that's where I'm
So
at with it. Like sometimes it is like when it hits, it hits.
me like that. But other times I'm just like, yeah, you know, it did rain today, so set the forecast. So but guess, because I usually don't tell. I like people to like guess.
I'm getting maybe a Leo, but also I
Oh,
could see a
mm-hmm.
Virgo. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm like getting even. You're just very. You seem very extroverted. But I also could see like maybe Gemini. I don't know.
Wow. Okay, so I'm a Pisces.
Oh, okay, Pisces. And you know what? I should have guessed that because Pisces are so good at like writing. I should have guessed that immediately.
Yeah, yeah, March 10th, that's my day. Yeah, but I do have, apparently my auntie made me get my chart read for my like birthday, milestone birthday. So I do know my placements. I do got a little Virgo in there. So yeah, that's just a little bit.
Okay, yes, the Virgo is coming through too. I love a Virgo, and I have a big Pisces placement as well.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And I definitely relate to you on like graduating or getting ready to graduate college and then thinking like the internships are going to pour in, the jobs, like they should be headhunting me. And it's just not being that. Did you have any like post grad depression at all?
Girl, that's when I figured out what depression was.
Lit-
It's
Literally
like, what is
same.
this? There's a name for this.
Hmm.
So I definitely had a dip because, like, at the time, I was really like using social media to connect with like different editors and stuff. And I mean, the ones that are like popping now, like the names. Like I was noticing them because I'm just a magazine girl.
Hmm.
So the masterheads was like my little black book of contacts that I would be trying to like connect with and stuff, like when I was making my exit. So when I would get an email response and then nothing would come of it, I would really I took it personally at the time. So like, dang, like I just want like a shot to like show like people what I got so I can learn. Like I know I can be a sponge, like I'm ready, just give me a shot. So when that wasn't happening, oh, I definitely took a dip. Plus, my first job out of college was
Hmm.
McDonald's. It was McDonald's. I was at the window, graveyard shift, dealing with people wanting their Big Mac and fries at 3 a.m.
I think that first job post graduation. Actually, what hit for me, I remember going to Waffle House. I went to school in Nashville, and
Mm,
I remember seeing someone who had just graduated the year before me working as the manager in Waffle House, and I was like, "Oh, so like you like just because you graduate college doesn't mean like you're automatically going to be
mm.
successful." And
Right, right.
I don't know, were you the first person to go to college in your family?
I was the first one to finish.
Same.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
so I feel like my family, I feel like they didn't really like prepare me. Like they were just like the goal was just like get to college, graduate college. But like,
Absolutely.
and then them also thinking like this is automatically what's gonna make you successful. And it's like that is
Yeah.
just not it, babe. Like it is
It's just
not like that anymore.
it's not, and I think the unique position that like I know my particular class kind of went through, maybe the class behind, and I think the class before, is that we were graduating right at the cusp of when like things really went digital, and like when social media really started getting like taken seriously, and when content creation even like started having a name, being an influencer really started to have a name, and just being at that cusp where it was so unknown. I think if I could go back, I'd be like, girl, be a Ember Chamberlain, or like,
Oh
like
my god, literally same.
just pull out your phone.
I'm like the fact that you weren't vlogging every single day, like, and I was a
Always
videographer
goes
in college.
boom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get on your Zoom. Literally, I was a videographer in college, so I was just like documenting
Oh,
like everybody else's thing. And I struggled with a lot of like self confidence things, thinking like, oh, is anyone gonna want me to be in the camera in front of the camera, knowing that's what
yeah.
I wanted to do the whole time, and just was like looking for validation to do that. Not
Yeah.
sure why I was struggling with that because nobody ever told me I couldn't. It was just like something I guess I was telling myself. But yeah, same. I would literally go back to myself and literally be like, "You need to be posting, getting on your Zoom every single day."
Please.
Okay, so you graduate college, you go work at McDonald's, and then what happens next?
So after that, I had like a 10-month stint of time. It seems like God works with me in stints of 2 years and 10 months. Hopefully that changes. Because I really want to get like planted. But I went through like this 10-month stint of time where I was just like, I'm just gonna be home. Like I just kind of embraced it. I mean, it hurt my heart every day, like reporting to like these like little, like side jobs and stuff, from McDonald's to like Plato's Closet that everybody hates. I did
Mhm.
there too. And then a door opened. I just like really went like in on the paint when it came to like networking, and this media company in in New York. I networked with one of the recruiters, and he was like, "Just apply, and we'll talk to you." I talked to the manager, and they gave me a shot. So I worked in media, moved to New York, and New York is what kind of like opened my eyes to like me in my full form.
Mm.
New
Say
York
more
was,
about that.
man, like New York was, I know I'm like in Chicago now, but I felt more like me when I was like in New York. Particularly, I lived in Bed-Stuy, and it was such like a dream because I literally woke up every day just ready to walk down the street. Like,
Mm.
I know y'all been seeing like those like black parties and stuff that's been happening. I literally lived on like the intersection of that, like Tompkins and Troop and stuff. And like to see like how it's going down, like, dang, like this is so beautiful. Um, I just love the culture. This was kind of again those cusp moments of like when gentrification really started like getting like cracked down and stuff. And just being able to see how the city moved is what inspired me more than like, oh, I was like up in this like club with these people and it was the movement of the city that inspired me the most. And I was just like, it's great to be here. It
Mm.
was short lived, but I'm glad I at least got that experience like in my back pocket.
What made you leave, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh yeah, no, it's fine, girl. It's already in the past. So it was like it was just like some like timing overlaps when it came to me ending my lease, like with my roommates and finding another place.
Mhm.
Um, I just it was just like bad timing, poor planning. Like it was just all those things at once. And I had to go.
Well, so why Chicago?
So Chicago, because I've also lived in LA too.
Okay.
Um, and being able to take these like pit stops back home to kind of like reflect, cry, pick myself up again, cry some more, plan a little bit, then, use home as like a launching pad for like my next step. I was able to kind of like see that like I could have went back to New York. I could have. But if the natives are complaining about like sustainable, equitable housing and stuff, what I look like trying to backpedal into the struggle. So when it came to Chicago, I just love the city. I took what I call like a manifestation trip in 2021 just to like see how the city was and how it felt. And I was like, every time I come to Chicago, I feel alive. Like I
Mhm.
feel like I don't have to like hustle. I feel like I don't have to like work myself down into the pavement. I just feel an ease. And
Yeah.
I followed the ease. And things worked out with my apartment that I have now. There's no way on God's green American country that I would have been able to get what I have now in New York. So
Mhm.
one, me growing up being, not I'm delusional at times, but I had to be realistic in this
You gotta be
situation.
FFR.
Please, okay? And when things started falling into place, I was like, yeah, let me follow ease as opposed to grinding my way to another path that wasn't necessarily open at this time. So that's how I landed back. Not landing back, but that's how I landed in Chicago.
I love this like follow ease. Because I'm in Oakland right now, and it is not ease here. I mean, it's chill, but
Uh-huh.
it's like a lot of like break-ins and like a lot of violence here. And
Really? Yeah.
yeah, she's cute, but she's sketch.
That's surprising.
I was surprised too. They don't tell you that, but now
Yeah.
every video I see on TikTok is like somebody's car getting broken into. So I'm like, why were these videos on my For You page before? Yeah, I don't know where I'm gonna move next, and
Mhm.
I think I'm gonna carry that with me. Follow ease, and I'd love
Yeah.
for you to say more about this manifestation trip. What is that? I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, girl. I am big on the power of the tongue. That's why I be trying like, ooh, that's not, let me not say that. Or like, ooh, let me actually say that. Because I think every move I've made, I've had to use like the power of my words and the power of like visualization. And so when it came to my manifestation trip, I just had like a stint of time where I could really just spend time traveling. I had never had that time in my life. I was like, wow, I've never been to Chicago. Except for like these little trips, like me and my dad would take me and my sister on, like during the summer from Indianapolis, to Chicago. But it was just to get like a Polish and then drive back. So I was like, I've never been as an adult. Like, let me see what's going on. So, yeah, 2021, summer of, I ended up going and I just wanted to be a tourist. I had like no strict itinerary. I was just like, get a hotel and just go. So there I was like, can I, people like, the girls be going to a new city and like, can I move here?
No,
That
that's me every time I go anywhere. I'm like, can I live here? Like literally anywhere, I am like that.
Literally, that was me in the back of my mind, like for like the 4 days I was here, because I was like, can I actually see myself here? Like, is it a vibe? Like, what stuff happens in the city? Like, is it clean? Oh my God, it's so clean here. I don't know how they
Mm.
do it, but it's just like little aspects of it that just were speaking to me. And when I left, the concierge at the hotel gave me like this little like pup. Oh, girl, I told you about this weather. Got a severe weather warning. Not the D&D cutting through, but anyway.
It had to let you know about the weather.
It did. So while I was leaving, the concierge asked me how my trip was, and I was like, "Yeah, it went really well. I'm just, trying to think if I want to like move here." And he gave me this little puppy, like this little like stuffed blue puppy, and he was like, "Well, here's a token so that you come back." And
Oh.
I just felt like that was such a sign. One, because I love dogs, I can't wait till I get my own, but because it was like you heard what I said, and then like he may have thought it was small, but for me it was just like, dang, that kind of like felt like a confirmation to like make a return. So I did. I went back for the Kendrick Lamar concert, and again, going through the city and just being like, I can really see myself here. And then I just committed to the visualization of it, and here I am.
I love that so much. This is like so timely for me to even be hearing this just like with where I am right now. And I think that's just like a good idea for anything. Like not necessarily like I feel like there's ways to implement that on a smaller level. Like
Yeah.
just maybe visiting something and visualizing it and just fully calling in that thing that you
Yeah.
want.
Right. Like if there's a car you want, go to that parking lot, test drive it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sit in it. You know what I mean? Like if there's an apartment that you want to be in, go to it, look at it, take a tour, like see yourself in the space that you actually want to be in, and kind of like take it off the vision board. I think
Mm.
I'm a big vision board girl. But I just think as I like kind of like evolve in like my journey, I'm like, sometimes you gotta take stuff off the vision board and actually like act it out in your life. Because like it's one thing to look at pictures, but it's one thing to like be in what you're picturing in real life.
Mhm.
So it's just a practice.
Because I feel like once, like for me, moving to I moved to California last year, and to me that was like a thing that like felt like I could never do, but it was something that was on my vision board for a long time. And
Yeah.
then we just did a 1 month Airbnb, me and my boyfriend, not thinking we would actually move, just like stayed out
Mhm.
in LA for 1 month, and then ended up moving to the Bay like
Yeah.
permanently. Well, not permanently because I'm leaving, but like didn't even think that was like a reality. And so I think there is something to like just visiting these places and just figuring out like what can you like replicate on a small level, like even if it like whatever feels unattainable to you, like how can you implement that in your life on a small level so it can feel more real. How do you like, do you feel like most of the things you in your life right now that you've manifested them?
Oh, absolutely. And now I feel like because of where I currently am with things, I'm like, oh, I just gotta walk my toe over to my bed and just close my eyes and I can change my situation. But I think sometimes I forget because I'm just like, oh my God, why can't it just be easy for me? I don't want to grind all the time. I low-key have this complex where like now in my life, this wasn't always the case. I'm just like, I kind of want things handed to me a little bit. Like I wouldn't mind a little bit of nepotism or like
Always say, I wish I was a nepo baby so bad.
I don't want a sprinkle of that privilege, that people talk
Mm-hmm.
but because I don't come from means and like I haven't really been able to like be funded, when it comes to like my career, I'm like, okay, God has given me this tool to use when I feel like I'm at rock bottom. I can always come up out of rock bottom if I just take the time to see the next step and then trust that God will fill in the steps for me to get to the next step. So, yeah, everything has really been through that and faith. A lot of faith, a lot of faith.
That's what I'm
So,
getting from what you're saying. I'm like, that really requires a huge amount of faith. What
yeah.
allows you to lean on that? Like, to even remember, like, that is a thing that is accessible to you.
Yeah, girl, I think, so I'm a Christian and I know like Christianity gets a really bad rep these days. Ooh. But I also believe in like the fact of like God being bigger than like religion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that's just where Allie is in her journey. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the only reason why I'm able to say that is because I did not believe that at a point in time. But I think because I'm a PK, just, what I'm saying?
Oh,
Um,
okay.
it's just kind of like in me. But I think everybody should go through a dark night of the soul where they really do not see a way out. Like they really do not see how their life can change or how things can get better. And the fact that I have been able to get out of the darkest points of my life, even the ones that are a little shady, now I know I can get out of that if I've like gotten out of the shadow of darkness. You know what I'm saying? So it's really just like the strength. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how I know it's not me because like I would have gave out years ago. You know what I'm saying? So I know that I'm working with like God being bigger than my situation and God being bigger than me, but God also being able to trust me with my situations and trust me with finding a way out through faith, through Him. So it's kind of like this like relationship. It's just a relationship with God. That's what it is. That's what I lean on. Simply put.
That is so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think no matter what the religion is, I think if you're a spiritual person or if you have, some kind of faith and just having something to lean on. Because I,
We need it.
yeah, yes,
Whatever
like to
you
just
want.
go through this life and like just
Oh,
do it alone. My heart goes out to you because it is just,
imagine.
it's rough
But
out here.
find a source. Just please, just find a source. Like, don't just go out like with nothing covering you. Like, you need something. Be connected to a source, please.
Well, I really just want to transition into Black Girl Playground because that is
Yes,
just like so dope to me. Is that
my
how long have you had that?
only since June.
Wait, what? Oh my gosh. I mean, just from like going on the Instagram, it just seems like a thing that's been around for a long time. That's really
Well,
dope.
that's the funny thing about it, girl. I had these like, how do I say, like false starts.
Oh, same. Even
Uh,
with this podcast. No, don't be ashamed. That's just like the string that is like weaving everything together.
yeah, yeah, definitely had them false starts because the idea was like the inception of the idea was in 2020. But it was just like a conversation between me and another friend, and that's all it was. Then I got the design made. I was like, this could be something. But it
Yes.
still didn't feel like the right time. And then I got the courage and I was just like, this was weird. No one knows this but my sister. I was like, every dude I talk to, I'm talking to them about this concept. I'm not telling another man about this dream unless it is out there in the world. I was like counting all the guys that I was talking to. And I felt ashamed. And I was just like, I need to really stop talking about this and like make it a real thing. And that's what kind of like sparked the launch. So, yeah.
Can you tell people what exactly it is and like how you came up with the idea?
Absolutely. Okay. So Black Girl Playground is my brainchild. It is a digital playground for colorful, creative community that speaks to the joy and delight of our inner Black child. It has to be the inner Black child because we have a very unique experience that also connects us all. And because of kind of like going back to like that question, like what's your story? I definitely grew up as like the awkward, shy, mute Black girl. Like I just did not have a voice like whatsoever. And I my journey has been to find my voice. Thank God for storytelling because I found it in the
Mhm.
written form. And now I'm transitioning more into like actually speaking my truth. And so with Black Girl Playground, I really want to create a space that's centered around joy and the joy of being a late bloomer and the joy of speaking to our experiences. It came about because like during the pandemic, I was just seeing so much all these concepts about the despair, hardship,
Yeah.
um,
It's trauma porn.
oh my God, of us,
Yeah.
of of Black people, and I'm just like, are we destined to be sad? Are we destined to be depressed? Like, there has to be a way that we can take these experiences, but not leave it in a desperate, despaired situation. It has to be cultivated into joy because that's what we
Mhm.
do. You know what I'm saying? I think we're here because of resilience and because we've been able to find the joy in like the hardest moments of like our Black American experience. And
Yeah.
so that's the root of what sparked it. And I'm also just not a browns and neutrals girl. And I'm just like, where's the color at? Like, why why do we have to be muted? Like, where's the oranges, the pinks, the blues, the yellows? Because we are colorful people. And so my platform just kind of reflects all those things together. Mhm.
Immediately when I saw it, it just made me think of the importance of play and how
Yes.
that's like so like non-existent in our lives as they currently exist, and especially during that time I found myself too, and I think a lot of people were feeling really similar because I'm seeing it come out in like TV programming now. Like people were just like, okay, I need joy, like, and I think it was
Yeah.
because while it was like we were having to explain ourselves to white people and like other races and be like, hey, this is what Black people go through, and rehash all these things that we already knew about being Black people, but we had to like basically
Mhm.
put all of our trauma on display. And so
Right.
it was everywhere, and it's exhausting to see, to experience, to witness. And also it wasn't like seeming like it was getting any better. And then we're stuck inside our houses. And so it just was like, I need some levity. I need some play. And so I just want to ask you, like, what's your take on play and like the importance of it?
I think without play, and not to be dramatic, but I really do think that like without play, like creativity kind of like ceases to exist. And I only say that because I think when everything is so serious, that's when we like stop the flow of our creativity. And if we don't, I always like hear like people ask like, how do you, like, if we're feeling uninspired, like, what do? You create space between that thing that makes you feel stuck and you fill it up with things that are different and more playful than what has you stuck. Like, that's how I kind of like get out of like pits of like, I'm not inspired. Like, what am I supposed to do? I go outside, I take a walk, I listen to In Sync, I listen to
Oh
Ali and AJ. Like,
my gosh, I was listening to them today.
I listen to Radio Disney because like that's what I connect with as far as like my childhood and just again like coming of age and stuff like that. Like I color, you know, like I am still trying to get a good pair of roller skates because I love roller skating. Like those are the things that bring me joy because they're an act of play. And I think because everything happens on our phones, we think that inspiration is supposed to happen on our phones. When really a lot of the inspiration that we get is literally from outside sources, from outside modes of play. And I think play fuels inspiration. I think inspiration fuels creativity. So that's kind of like the cycle.
You're in the perfect place to be roller skating, I feel like.
Yes, perfect place.
That is so real. And what you're saying too about like being on our phone, because I definitely find myself like going on Pinterest and like trying to pull like tons of inspiration. But like when I feel most inspired, it is definitely not when I'm looking at my phone or looking at something else someone else
Yes.
made. It's like when I'm just getting my hands dirty and just being silly myself and tapping into my inner child. I think that's
Yeah.
going to be something for me to reflect on this week as well.
Absolutely, because I think our inner child has like all the answers. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're probably the most like traumatized form of our being, but they were onto something. Like little me, little you, like had the keys, and then the world diluted it, and then as adults, we're trying to find our way back to what we already knew as children. So little me and little you, we got the answers. You have to
Yeah.
listen to her.
Have to stop suppressing her. I definitely suppress her a lot.
Oh,
This is just like really good for me to like hear honestly because I think I'm in this mode right now of like trying to figure out what is my next thing that I want to do and like how can I infuse more creativity. And I think it's exactly what you're saying. It's just like getting more like inviting more play into my life. Do you color
definitely.
regularly or like do you do like are those things you do often?
Yeah, I do it when I'm trying not to be on my phone. So there's this like I'm sorry, not YouTuber, TikToker. Her name's Bobby Goods, and she makes these little like bears. They're doing these like everyday activities, but she puts in the pictures in this coloring book and is the cutest thing ever. And I actually got those like cute little felt markers and stuff. And I love that book. I need to get another one actually. So
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
gonna look into this. I'm like, I want a cute little book.
Oh, it's just adorable. It's the most adorable thing you'll ever see.
What like so is being off your phone, is that like you're like do you try to set really clear boundaries around your phone?
The thing is that I would actually prefer to not be on the internet.
I think I'm the same.
Yeah. Yep. As much as like you have your like podcast, like you have your platform. I know I do what I do, but it's like I think the people who are most like internet facing probably are the ones who don't want to be. Like so
Yeah.
like I always feel so clear headed and light and less like clouded when I'm just not on social media. But I do understand it as a tool,
Mhm.
and I do understand it as something that is important in this like era that we're in to utilize. I'm just sensitive.
Yeah,
If I was less
same.
sensitive, I would take things like less personal and stuff. But that's kind of like what I'm on right now is to like focus less on like the vanity metrics that I mean, we're all kind of like attached to right now, like shares, follows, views, all those things, and just remembering my value is connected to these vanity metrics.
Mhm.
And that's kind of like how I'm trying to find balance. But I definitely give myself at least 2 to 3 days just to not be online during the week. So that is definitely a boundary that like I've committed to, and that I actually try and impart to other people who like struggle with like comparison and just feeling like they don't know like how to show up online.
Oh my gosh, the people who listen to this podcast know how much I feel like every solo episode I do, I'm always talking about comparison because I am chronically online. I'm literally chronically online, and I do love social media, but I don't like I like the connection it offers. Like clearly, like me and you, like being in completely different places, being able to talk, and like being like you, Tatiana.
Yes.
Like I love that
Right.
aspect of it. But then there is also this other toxic aspect of like people commenting on my body or just like saying like really hurtful things. And it's like, oh, I wish I could like just get rid of y'all. And what you're
Yeah.
saying too of like like all the value, like a thing is only good if it got a ton of likes or if it got a ton of
Yeah.
engagement. And I just want to share the things I'm passionate about, the people I like or find interesting with the world and
Yeah.
let that be the metric.
Yes, because I think our measuring sticks are just off. I think it really does a disservice to our like creative expansion when everyone's measuring stick looks the same, but everyone's journey is different. So why would I be using a yardstick when right now I'm supposed to be using a ruler? And what I mean is, why am I comparing my journey to someone with 70K followers, the yardstick, when right now I'm just a little micro girl? You know what I'm saying? Like right now, not forever, but right now, I'm a micro influencer. I don't really like the name, but I'm just saying like that, like boxing stuff. I'm
Mhm.
a creator who has a very micro but cute and engaged community, and I need to be using my measuring stick, not the
Mhm.
yardstick that someone close to 100K has in their lane. It's outrageous and it's causing mental turmoil, and I want us to be set free. I
No,
really
that makes a
do.
lot of sense. And somebody's looking at you and being like comparing themselves to you, even, you know? So I think it's like we're just always looking at the next thing. And then somebody's like looking at us like
Yeah.
wanting, because like as you're saying that, I'm like, well, you have had success. Like you have built a very dope community online. And I think that's where the value is.
Right. That is where the value is. It's just like if everyone could just like focus on the value, just
Yeah.
focus on the value. Like the growth is gonna come inevitably because you're not dead. Like if you were alive, that means you're growing. And if you want more, that means you're growing. So it's like
Mhm.
I know your growth may look like people's growth may look like, okay, I got one new follower today, but I got two really good comments. That's value. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
For your portion. If you're like, dang, I didn't get 100 new followers today, I'm a failure, I suck, I'm going to delete my app. Well, what about the two comments that really touched your heart yesterday? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's just focus in, you know.
I guess to
Mhm.
transition, I'd love to know how you built this community online and the impact that you've had with your work so far.
To be honest, I don't really know because like sometimes I'm like
I
I
don't know. They just love me.
I don't know because like sometimes like okay, so I'm like a screenshot person, so I do like to kind of like take like quarterly screenshots of like where my platforms are and stuff. But I'm like, oh, so this time last year I was complaining about the follower count I have, and now I have the follower count I wanted. Wake up. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
literally. Actually, I've been screenshotting too because like I will literally do that because you see the growth steadily. It's kind of like
Yeah.
when someone like loses weight or something like that. It's like, oh, or like your body changes. Like you don't see it because you're literally looking at it every single day. But if you look at those screenshots, it's like, oh wow, I grew like 1,000 followers in a month, or however, whatever that time period is. Because
Yeah.
you forget.
Mm-hmm. And because it's not rampant sometimes,
Yeah.
oh, you definitely forget. And so but I think what the consistent theme has been is that I think people are drawn to the platform. One, because like I'm not trying to like sell them stuff all the time. And two, I just think people are looking for reflections of themselves online. Like it may seem weird, but like when I look at my story views sometimes. And so like when I see
We
people,
all do. We all look at our story views.
when I look though, what I find so interesting, it's like brown girls with glasses, or like brown girls with braids, or like I'll go to their profile and it's like she got a mean sneaker game. I'm like, I got a mean sneaker game. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like she's fly. Oh, I'm kind of fly too. Like I'm fly too. You know what I'm saying? Like she's someone who stacks her jewelry. I'm someone who stacks my jewelry. Like she takes, little like dump photos of her journals. I stay in mine. Like I think people are looking for reflections of themselves. And so I think what has kept people and what keeps people is I think they want to have a space where they see themselves. And I'm not afraid of, being transparent and open online. And I think that's what people kind of gravitate towards, especially now, because I think people are kind of losing their taste for the facade.
No, literally. And I think that's why. Are you on Threads?
Sort of.
Same. I'm like, I can't do another platform, but
Not
I
regret downloading it.
I think the reason people are really liking it so much is because it feels authentic. Like it feels like people are
Mhm.
just like showing up there saying their like random thoughts. It's so less curated than what we know Instagram to be, and even TikTok. I feel
Yeah.
like I was just
It's so
did a recording.
ironic.
Yeah, it's like it with the episode last week, Blanche, she was saying that we're so over the word aesthetic. Like aesthetic has
Mhm.
become like such a thing, and it's like we're
Love
just
that.
tired of that, I think. And
Mhm.
also like we were saying too,
Yeah.
like we're tired of being sold to. Everything is an ad.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, and I mean, like, creators got to make their money and stuff, but it's like I think when it don't hit the ear right sometimes when you're being sold, but like no one knows what they're buying into. Like they don't
Mhm.
even know like how you really like be showing up. So it's like, where'd this come from?
No, literally. I mean, even when you think on like I don't know if you know like Addison Rae and Charlie D'Amelio, but like when they blew up, they immediately just started doing only ads.
Mhm.
And I think people got disinterested in that. Not saying they don't still have like people who love them, but it's like if you like blow up and everything becomes just an ad, I don't think
Mhm.
there's anything there to like really keep people interested because you're just constantly selling to people and you're not really nurturing the community that built you that following in the first place.
I agree. Yeah. That's why I try to, keep it balanced.
Yes, I think that's the word. I'm like really working on balance. I mean, I don't get enough brand partnerships to like even have that issue right now, but I just as like affiliate marketing is becoming a thing, sometimes I'm in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, should I be like posting more to like so brand like I can get commission off of this thing? And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't really want that to be like my whole MO.
Hmm. Get the coin when the coin presents itself. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? But tell people the journey to the coin too. You know what
Yes. Yes, the
Yeah.
journey to the coin. I love that. That is so dope. Okay. Do you do a lot of brand partnerships? Is that something you're interested in?
So I feel like it kind of I have so every time a question is asked, my brain goes to another side. But because I'm like, oh, that's just like something I've been thinking about. But I I'm planning on ramping it up a little bit more, because I do like UGC content. So a lot of the content that I do for brands, like you gotta go to their page to figure it out.
Yeah,
You know?
I prefer that, honestly.
Me too. Ooh, it's so
It's
like,
so fun. It's like, "Oh, I don't have to post this because sometimes it can be not cringe, but, like, sometimes after all their notes and stuff, it's like, "I don't know if this is, like, my vibe."
yeah, yeah, you kind of like lose yourself in it. And I think like finding the right brands to work with who just like you and they want to give you the creative like freedom to just like do what you got to do, give them the content. Okay, maybe change this word, but then you good. Like that's kind of the dream.
Mhm,
So
and they
I work
pay
with,
well.
yeah, yeah. And then if it works, they want to use it again and you get paid again. So it's kind of like it's lit. But
Yeah.
I kind of want to like ramp it up a little bit and just like diversify the brands that I do work with and stuff, which is why like I've been working with this whole like give people like proof of concept that like not only are you online and participating in this like creative ecosystem that everybody's a part of, but that like you can do the same things you see other people doing too. So right now I'm kind of in like a proof of concept season, so that things can ramp up.
I love that. How do you mind giving, like, people advice if they're, like, wanting to get into UGC content? Like, how like, any tips you have for that?
Yeah, I think one, just like reach out to brands. I think that's the big one that unfortunately we have, you know, our girl imposter syndrome that's like, why would they want to work with me? Like, what do I have to offer? Well, if you're starting with that mindset, then yeah, why would they want to work with you? I'm joking, but like,
No,
you just
that's real though.
saying, but like, you can't start with like a deficit. You have to be like, dang, like I'm dope. And I can give them access to the people who are in my community who are also dope, who would low key like love to be a part of whatever product that they have, or like purchase and just have whatever product that they want to have. So definitely just be confident and like reach out to people. And different brands slide in their DMs. They may say no this time, but circle back because budget's open quarterly. Circle back, always circle back. And then also, once you do get into a space where you are talking to a brand regularly, don't skip on the pleasantries, okay? Like, if you enjoy working with them, please send after the campaign is over. Just be like, "Hey, I really enjoy working with you all." Fluff them up a little bit so that, like, when the next thing comes around, they can think of you for the next thing as well. And then also, like I said, like give people something to find. Like if you have like your dream brands that you want to work with, create content that they would want to see their stuff placed in. And that really comes with creating content. I'm not going to force anybody to be a content mule, but create content so that brands can see their products being placed on your platform. So yeah.
So, yeah, I love that. That was so cute. If you're watching online, you can see how cute that was. So, yeah. It do be feeling like content mule sometimes too, like, how much content they want you to post. Like, the
Mhm.
fact you were saying you go 2 to 3 days without posting, I'm like,
Yep.
some people will be like, "That is unheard of. You can never go that many days
Mhm.
without posting." Do you ever feel like that? Like
Oh, of course. And I, that's like I say, whenever you ask me a question, you made me think of something else. Cause I'm like, ugh, it's so like sad sometimes when I think about it because it's like, what could the internet be offering me more than my real life is? You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just like, if I think I'm losing out by being on a phone, what am I actually missing out on in real life? You know? And that just like boggles my mind that I would think that being on my phone has more of a like return on investment than me just going outside, you know? So when that does kind of like bubble up, I'm just like, I'm actually safe. I'm actually comfortable. Um, I'm actually in a really nice place in my life where I'm not starving and wanting for things. Can I just be here for just a little bit? Because not 6 months ago, I was praying and sobbing just to have my own place. You know what I'm saying?
Mm, mhm.
So it's just like returning, and I know this is like therapy talk, but like for
That's what I'm
real,
all about. That's literally what I'm all about.
girl, like returning to center and really being present in the moment. I'm just like, I can never miss out on what is for me if I'm here right now. I'm hearing this conversation right now. I'm talking to you. I have this amazing opportunity to share my story. You have given me a way to talk and formulate ideas. Thank you for this moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm
Mhm.
here right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, why would I ever think I'm like missing out on something online if I'm just here right
Yeah.
now? You know what I mean? So yeah.
I think what we a lot of people, and I'm saying a lot of people, I mean me, I struggle with like I forget that what is for me is for me. And sometimes I think I compare myself, I'm like, I need to be posting this amount of times a day, otherwise I'm missing out on opportunities or no brand's gonna work with me, blah blah blah. But
Mm-hmm.
I have to remember that what is for me and it will not pass me by. And I forget that. So thank you for that reminder.
Absolutely.
Ugh, okay. So I do want to ask you before we wrap up, like some of your wellness practices because you are a
Mm-hmm.
creative wellness girly. I
Yeah.
just would love to know like what are some things that you really like your tools in your toolbox.
Yeah. So we touched on it a little bit earlier, but one of the main ones is that I am not a slave to my phone. Yes. Woo, we're not slaves anymore. Do y'all know we're not slaves? Like happy post Juneteenth, guys. We're free. Okay. So that's one of the things that I
I am not free, but I'm working to free myself from the shackles of my phone, honestly.
but
I'm
like
actually I'm getting better. My screen time went down 19% this past week, and I was very proud of that.
yes, congratulations. I love
Thank
checking
you.
my screen time. If I'm in a, ooh, I love that girl. So that's a big one for me. Just not knowing when to turn things off. That's so good for my mind. And then also, I love making room for like silly activities. And a lot of that entails like one, being able to turn my brain off by watching really like trashy, messy, and just like nonsensical but entertaining reality TV.
Please tell
That's
me what you're watching, please, because I am like in a reality TV chokehold right now.
yes. So obviously Martha's Vineyard House.
Okay, that's on my list. Is it? It's worth watching.
It is. It is. I mean, granted, it's new, so they're still trying to like work out the moving pieces and stuff,
Yeah.
like who works, who doesn't. But I just think we deserve like nonsense TV,
Oh yeah.
who, you know what I'm saying, where people are like throwing chairs and stuff. Like we deserve a little bit of nonsense, you know.
I
And
love
then
that you're calling it nonsense.
yeah.
Did you
And
watch
then,
Vanderpump Rules?
oh no, oh my god, I didn't, but I don't know if I can get into it because there's so many seasons. I don't
All I
know.
watched was the 10th season, and honestly, that's all you need to watch. That's if
Okay,
you want
is
some
it
nonsense.
do?
I would watch it. At first, I tried to just watch the reunion, and then I was like, oh no, I need to go back and watch the season.
Oh, yes.
It is
Okay.
non. I've never seen better
Mhm.
reality TV. If I'm being quite
Okay.
honest,
So now that I know I don't need no backstory, I'm definitely going to try out the 10 seasons
it's
because.
Bravo. You know, they'll give you
Mhm.
the editors will cut it back how they need to. If you want to, you could just watch the reunion. It is wild. And if you have Peacock, they have like the uncensored version. Though I know you're a Christian girly, so like maybe you want the censored version, but it's just like it's crazy.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Now you have inspired me to go back and just watch 10 season. get the tea on the reunion, because that's my type of television programming.
I
And
love white people going crazy, honestly. I love it.
I watched The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, Love Island.
I do love Love Island.
Okay, so that's the type of like nonsense I be watching.
Okay.
And then also, sleep is really important to me, but as someone who kind of like doesn't always know how to turn like my brain off, it's hard for me to like get to a deep sleep. So I listen to like white noise and rain like sounds and stuff, and just like people like speaking good things while I sleep. Because that helps me just get to sleep. And I, pop a couple like melatonin and stuff, because I think sleep is so important, but I think a lot of us are like lacking in it. But whenever I get some good sleep, I feel like I've taken care of myself.
Yes, I'm a big proponent of sleep. Honestly do not play about my sleep. I'm very like big on that.
Yes.
And that's like one thing I do not play about. And I've been like that since a kid. Like I've just always like
I
been
love
like
that.
really on sleep. It's just like I am
Mhm.
not good if I don't get the proper amount of sleep. Like you will not want to be around me.
I'm just slow. Like
Hmm.
I feel like I'm walking through mud if I don't get enough sleep. But because I get enough sleep, that's another thing. I'm like able to like work out every day. It doesn't happen again, girl.
What's the weather? Is it saying like it's a thunderstorm? What is happening? I'm like, do you need to get off your internet?
Girl, it's talking about a tornado.
I pray that does not happen.
Me too. A tornado warning. It's not looking like it, but I'm in the Midwest again. I forgot. Um,
Yeah, it might
but
happen.
who knows? But those are kind of like my main things. Just like be like stay in motion. Like I know it's hard sometimes, like when we get into like bouts of like depression and stuff, to like the bed is like the best place to be. But sometimes when it comes to like really taking care of yourself, just like getting up and taking like a quick walk, it just does like the mind so good.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a big proponent of working out. I am a big workout
Yeah.
girly. I
Hmm.
also am a fitness instructor, so I'm big. I'm just really about.
Really? Oh my
Yes, I
God, that's
teach
so cool.
Legree. It's if you're ever taking like a solid core or a Legree, like that's Legree. So I teach those classes. It's like a little side job. It's really
Wow.
fun, and I love
Oh my
it.
God, I love that. Oh, that's so
Yes,
cool.
I'm
Hmm.
like I think I'm trying to think what's in Chicago. I feel like solid core is really big in Chicago.
Now that she's actually said the name, I'm like, have I walked by one of those? I feel like I have, especially in like Fulton Market.
Yeah,
I feel like I might have.
it's a little bit different than Legree what I teach, but it's pretty similar. So that's why I'm just like I just say that one because I know a lot of people know that one. But
Oh, this sounds familiar.
it's if you want a good workout, it's something to try. If you like Pilates, Pilates is good too.
I do want to dabble more into things like that, because I'm kind of like stuck in weightlifting and stuff. So
I love weightlifting too. That's what I'm about to do as soon as we hop off. Go hit the gym really quick. Yeah, because just I just need something to like get me back in my body. Like I feel like I'm like moving up to my head, and I just need everything to come back down to my body.
Exactly. I'm trying to tell you that's been like the greatest thing I've like added to my life this year, just on a consistent
Yes.
basis.
And as women, as we age, I don't know how old you are. I think after 25, we lose collagen. And so just
Yeah,
like keeping that muscle mass up is just so important.
yeah, and I mean like kind of like so I'm like tall, so like Kayla Nicole, Meg Thee Stallion, these are my goals. Like those are my girls. Those are my tall, fit girls. I'm just like, mm-hmm.
How tall are you?
I'm like, so people be trying to like shut me down, but I'm like 5'9" and a half, 5'10" when
Okay.
I'm like on a good day. And then like don't let me put on no platforms.
You're six
Stallion.
feet. Yeah. I mean,
Period.
I'm only like 5'2", so you're a stallion to me.
No,
In
you
my
are.
head, though, I'm like 5'9".
You should. It's the energy. It's the
Yes.
energy.
People actually say I give tall energy, so
Yeah, you do. You really do. I'm surprised you said 5'2".
see? Don't let me actually that will blow my head up this entire week, so please don't even say that.
I got you.
Okay. For real, last question. I like to end each episode off by asking, what is something you're fostering for yourself this week?
Ooh, this week? Oh, that's a really good question. I think this week I just want to like be real with myself.
Hmm.
I think I need to, yeah, just keep it real with myself. Yeah, because I think sometimes like I be playing into all these fake scenarios, but what happens when I actually just like play into what could really happen? So
Mm.
I need to keep it real with myself this week.
Yeah, and you already spoke about how powerful your voice is. So
Yeah. That's a big one. That's one real, just realness. Okay.
yeah. Oh, I love that. Well,
hmm
Allie, thank you so much. This has been such a pleasure. I really feel blessed by this, honestly.
I'm so glad. No, really, truly, thank you so much for having me. Like, this has been such a joy and like such a pleasant conversation. So I just appreciate it.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, y'all. Thank you so much for listening to this episode with Allie. Didn't she just share so many great gems? I'm on cloud nine. I cannot wait to re-listen to this one and just soak it all in. I feel like this was literally the manifestation masterclass I needed, you needed. And if you really like this episode, please share it with a friend, share it with a coworker, share it with anyone who you think could benefit from it. Also, we love when you can rate and review the pod. That is how we grow. Thank you so much for listening. I will see you in the next one, or talk to you in the next one. Bye. Have a great week.